engender some continuation of Corey's speech. And I'll tell you a little story. I was in Sanford, North Carolina, and I was at one of the great big box stores of Sanford, otherwise known as the Big K. And it is a place that still has a Kmart that does quite well, Sanford, North Carolina. And I was cruising through there going to the housewares department, and a famous thing happened, a notorious thing happened, and that was this. The famous
Attention shoppers, there's a blue light special in this morning in this department. If you'd like to make your way there now for an extremely good bargain on some G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu Kid, please make your way to the toy department.
So I thought that was interesting. I was walking along, just kind of minding my own business, and all of a sudden I got stopped. And what came out of the aisle was a cart. And it was a Kmart employee pushing his cart. Basically, it ran over my toes and never looked up. And I thought, gosh, I wonder if they got him for a bargain. So I started to think, what makes somebody a bargain? What makes somebody valuable? Once they've gotten off the bus, and they've decided that they've gotten a project, they become a prospect for a position. So if I was going to apply to Kmart, I remember back, I applied to Pizza Hut when I was a kid, and I was thinking, what am I going to put on there? I have no experience. Who am I going to put as my references? I got a preacher, a teacher, a neighbor. I didn't think I really had anything to offer, but I got an interview because I had the basic skills for Pizza Hut. Who would have guessed? Who would have thunk? But anyways, as you're growing in your value, you get the interview because you've demonstrated the skills that meet the job qualification. If you get your interview and you seem to connect with the boss and seem like you could fit in socially, they hired you. So you get hired. Next step is hiring in your growth. After you're hired, then what happens? You have to prove that you're worthy of the job. You have to become somebody of value. And what is value? I looked at value in Merriam-Webster, and it said the cost of something, something important. And really I thought, what's the value of a person? And really I came up with value of a person is their replacement cost. And it's just not the price of their paycheck. It's a lot of other things. So I thought, gosh, how does someone grow in their value? Well, the first thing I think they need to have is the key for teachability. So all the other things that are involved in being someone of value, you have to be teachable. Remember back in school, they instructed you how to do something. You had to take that instruction and apply that to your position. That's what personal growth is. Skills and techniques taught and then applied. That is different, however, from being coachable. Coachable is kind of an introspective thing. Think of coaching as inside out rather than outside in, which is teaching. So you might get asked questions about what your opinion is and why you think this and why you think that. It takes a little bit of self-evaluation. So as you can do that better, you become of higher and higher value. Of course, there's always the skills, which I had when I was a prospect, and I have to improve as the job goes along. I have to improve my skills. But the other thing is, the other S, is that I have to be socially a good citizen. I can't be a whiner, a gossiper, a troublemaker, Buzz Killington, call it whatever you want, Debbie Downer. You really have to fit into a team to increase your value. The other thing is, if I'm working at Kmart or Pizza Hut or Tim Small Incorporated or Corey Graham, you have to have a promotional mentality. You always have to be thinking, how am I going to be more of a value to the company by presenting the company as more of a value to their customer? I went to a speech by Qctm. He's the president of High Point University. It's actually a pretty famous guy. I didn't realize it when I saw him, but he said, it's not the product, it's the product of the product. How someone feels from that product when you promote it. So you have to be promotional. And so you also have to be reliable. You have to show some reliability, some consistency, so that you're trusted by that job. That's somebody who's valuable. And you know, if you were to leave that, you were that valuable, and you left, they'd say, we're losing somebody valuable. They were a bargain for their paycheck. So as your prospects bloom, you have to ask yourself, am I a bargain?